Everybody that sees this interview, I encourage you to do the same. Don't just take my word for it. Because if you just take my word for it, you're doing the same as watching TV or watching the movies and taking their word for it. You need to do the research on your own, because that will allow you to open your mind and really give you self-empowerment. The greatest gift humanity was ever given was free will, and as long as you allow your free will to keep working, you will open up to what's occurring. False flags are going to be happening more. Based on my intuition and my intelligence that I have gathered, something else big is going to happen in the United States, and it's all being done to invoke this war on terror in Yemen for movement with the Seagate. Is it going to be to help escort these beings from off planet, or are these, friendly beings are trying to do something, and we're already in a galactic war that's happening now. Believe it or not, it's happening. But with that war, there are many different battles occurring, and we are on the brink of a new battle. This is definitely, I have no doubt about that. This is going to be another battle of the galactic war, and what people need to realize is that this planet is a war prize. It always has been. There's always been conflict for this planet, and there are many reasons which I could get into, but God, that would go on and on and on. Is there any other information that I can think of that people need to know about? Not at this time. Just know, specifically, you will find that the major countries that have warships, and I want to emphasize, these are warships, everybody. The United Kingdom, Russia, China, Japan, Germany, NATO, the UN, and the now mercenary group Z, which is more commonly known as Blackwater. There are scientific research corporations there right now under multinational contract doing heavy research on alien human DNA. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself, why was there a doctor that worked for this company that unexplainably said, the Earth, the people of the world have to be notified. It's quoted in an article that I found, and attempted suicide because she knew something, she was part of something, she had her own self-awakening, and the information she has was so great, so overwhelming, that she tried to kill herself. But did she really try to kill herself, or was this a mind-controlled, attempt to kill herself? Three of the people that I was in contact with, that I was working with, when I myself was helping orchestrate false flag events in 2008 and in the beginning of 2009, unexpectedly disappeared when they themselves became more self-aware and realized what they were doing was wrong. I have emails from certain personnel that contacted me and said that they were under house arrest in 29 Palms. Right after this, and I need to say this because this shows the level of seriousness that this is at. The person that I was in contact with, Captain Scott Seidner, I will say his name because he has disappeared. The place that he lived at, which was not too far from where I was living, I went to where he was living because I lost communication. He'd given me a document that actually talks about the preparation, a document that was drafted in, I believe, in 2000 for the agenda going all the way up to 2015. A document that was never supposed to leave the hands of certain personnel. I have 22 pages of that document that I have shared with you, Carrie. I'm getting off track. This person, Scott Seidner, Captain Scott Seidner, who'd given me this information, started realizing things were wrong, up and disappeared. Where he lived, I went and talked to the manager. They would not tell me, we had no Scott Seidner living here. His phone became disconnected. The people I was in contact with were disappearing left and right. I myself became under heavy surveillance, even had an attempt on my life. Yes, that did happen last year, where on one occasion where I first thought it was an accident until I got more information that it was not necessarily an attempt on my life, but it was what they do a lot, which they're doing with a lot of people I'm in contact with. It was a scare tactic. They're trying to shut me up. I just got absolute confirmation, and I'd like to emphasize on that absolute confirmation, because that's what I have to have before I will really say indefinite. The conference that unfortunately is having so many complications, the MKUltra Mind Control Conference, I received an anonymous tip, and then through contacts of mine saying that there was going to be an attempt on me at the conference, because they know that I'm getting ready to whistleblow a project that is the absolute most secret, kept undercover project in the world, and that is Project Seagate.
Okay, so thank you very much, Aaron McCollum, and I assume that you want this video to go out as is.
Yes.
In other words, we can talk about making it only audio. We can talk about possibly putting it into just a transcript, a written transcript, if you at a later date decide to do so. But at this moment, is it your feeling that you want this to go on the internet as is?
If I am going to really come out as a credible witness, I think that's what you're really calling them now, not whistleblower, using the term witness, or
both.
Okay, if I'm going to be an actual, because this interview is going to be followed up with the full interview of how I came to be who I am now, and my whole history of the training I got as a kid. I'm going to be blowing something wide open that you and I have talked about. If I am going to have credibility, if I'm going to have people really see me, they need to see me as a person. They need to know. And yes, I have the tattoos and the earrings, but there's a reason, which I'll be explaining why I look the way I do now. But if I'm going to be a legitimate, real person, and also because there's people that I'm in contact with that I notified that I was going to be doing this, and you and I talked about it, to see my face, to see that, yes, I am real. I am not some man behind the Iron Curtain. I'm not some deep throat in a parking garage. They need to see it as a whole.
Okay.
They need to see my face. For me, eye contact, seeing the person is very much, a lot more empowering.
Okay.
And, my life has already been threatened and attempts have been made. I have scars from knife wounds from almost getting killed.
Okay.
But, being who I am, I lack the emotion of fear. And I'm not afraid. And I need to do this.
Okay, thank you very much. I also, just as a caveat, want to say here that isn't it true that your connection with Camelot, and specifically with Duncan O'Finioan, has been instrumental in you getting in touch with some of this?
Yes. When a friend of mine first introduced me to Project Camelot, I was very interested, because I was starting to have some memories come back. And then this friend of mine showed me the Duncan O'Finioan and the Dave Corso interview, and it took everything not to break down and cry, because there was something, I couldn't remember, when I saw Duncan, when I saw Dave, there was something inside that was just feeding me, and I couldn't figure out what. And then when Duncan and Dave mentioned St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands, my head literally hurt. It was like I was walking in this hallway and all these doors opened. And I can tell you, and I will be saying this in my interview, that Duncan and Dave have memory lapses of what happened in St. Thomas. I will be able to tell you, and I've talked to Duncan and Dave about this, what happened. Yes, Dave and Duncan and I did in fact do operations together. We have confirmed it. We know it. And even another soon-to-be whistleblower was directly involved with Project Seagate with me. Me contacting you, seeing this, was not a coincidence. There's no such thing as a coincidence. This was all the way it was supposed to be. And, I owe a big thank you to you for, bringing me to the conference. And it was really a reunion between Duncan, Dave, and the other friend who I promised I wouldn't say this person's name. I'll leave that up to this person.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that, we gave kind of a thank you or a nod of the head to Duncan O'Finioan and Dave Corso.
Yes, absolutely. And, Dave and I, we see each other all the time. I've been regularly going to his place, and Duncan's been really busy, but there were a couple times after the conference when I was able to speak with him and actually see him when he was in L.A. filming the Manchurian Candidate. By the way, I want to pitch that. If you haven't seen what's titled as the Manchurian Candidate episode of Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura, it's on True TV. You can find on YouTube now. An absolute must. It was so well done. I was so impressed with how well it was done. So that's my little pitch for that. Just helping out my friends Dave and Duncan, who are also working hard to get the word out.
Okay. Thank you very much. And today is January 9th?
Yes, it is.
2010.
It's Dave Corso's birthday today.
There you go.
I sent him a birthday card.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.